Welcome back to Pre-Market Prep at the close. Spencer Israel, Joel Elconin. Joel and I were just talking, just kind of a chop fest in the market today. Not really a lot going on in one direction or the other. We've got rising case counts as far as the
Who cares?
coronavirus, but yeah, I know Dennis seems to care, but honestly, I don't care as much, and I don't think the market cares as much either. So I'll pull up a chart here of the SPY and or the SPOOs here, and Joel just kind of walk us through today. Really, just a
Yeah,
kind of
it's
meander.
compared to the fireworks that we had in the after hours and pre-market trading, this one is kind of a snooze fest. Really in a trading range here going into the quad witch expiration. And just let me boil this down for you here. Now that's too long of a term of a chart. Let's call it since 14, even going farther than that. Basically, since noon, we've been in a trading range from 3105 basically to 3086. And most of that time has been spent between 3090 and 3090 and 3100. So just a lot of jockeying here ahead of the big quad witch. It's just a real choppy day. Like I said, kind of disappointing after those fireworks that we had in pre-market trading. So let's see which way they're going to ramp them up for tomorrow's open.
Yeah. All right. Quiet day for the broader market, but there are some stocks moving today, and there are some stocks that were put in the chat this morning that we didn't get to that I wrote down. But let's start with one that was on our list this morning. We didn't quite have time to get to it, but Spotify.
Whew.
Never ever doubt the power of the Kardashians, because
Yeah, the card.
that's what people are learning today. If you didn't know already, Spotify announced a deal with Kim Kardashian, an exclusive podcast that they're going to host from her, some sort of criminal justice podcast, and that was all the catalyst you needed for Spotify.
Yeah, and I did talk about this one a little bit on Hot Mic, and when stocks get like this, you just can't stand in their way. And generally, I'm not very good at, much better at talking about them than actually trading them, just because they're wild and just it's so hard to buy stocks when they just go straight up. But your pre-market high was 210.50. So when I look at these kind of days, if it gets above there, then it's either you got to go with the mo on the long side or just not shorted. So you had an open, little bit of a dip off the open, not much to it, but once you came through that 210.50, just ripping higher, just big monthly candle. I don't even know what to say. I mean, 229.54. That's your high. You're at 225. So whatever your high for today and close, there'll be some big numbers here in Spotify. Frankly, I'm surprised that it moved that much off the Kardashian news. But what do I know?
Yeah, I mean they're going out there. It's a talent grab right now. They grabbed Joe Rogan, they grabbed Bill Simmons, they're grabbing the Kardashians. So they're just going out to try to get as many big names, as many big podcasts as they can, because that's something that can differentiate them. Like the bear case on Spotify was always, well, they have the same music library that Apple does, right? So like, what's to stop? Like what makes Spotify so special if Apple has the same exact library of music, which is true for music, but podcast is different because you can just sign exclusively with somebody and have someone exclusive. It's basically like television shows where you can be exclusively on one platform or the other. So I
I
don't
just
know.
want to say, Gary, he's like, I sold spot yesterday. I like not making money. I mean, Gary, you didn't know this news was going to come out. I mean, it's impossible to, predict those kind of things. And you know what? Actually, when you look at the day yesterday that it got up to all the way to 196.60. Wow, that had a big range. Oh, I'm looking at the monthly range here. Let me look at the daily range. Had a pretty strong day yesterday. Hit 199.29, 199.99 and closed right there near the high. So I'm not saying anybody had that information, Gary, but next time you're looking at a stock like this, like a strong close like that, and then it's not even just for stocks, it's for futures or whatever. A lot of times a strong close portends to follow through the following day. But that's hindsight capital. You don't want to hear that. But just a quick trip when you close up near the high. I don't know if you sold it during the day or not. Also, if it hit your target, it hit your target, Gary. You're not gonna, if you trade that way, then continue.
Yep. There's always a way to look back on a trade and say, oh, I could have, I should have. Even if you made money, I could have, I should have. So.
Look at Nick Bellucci trying to already get my Belmont pick out of me. You're a tricky guy, Nick. Sol Valente will be in my article. I'll be discussing my picks for the Preakness tomorrow, or Preakness Belmont tomorrow. But Sol Valente is getting some serious consideration.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but I'll take.
That's a horse in the Belmont, Spencer.
I'll take your word for it. Let's go to some stocks we discussed this morning before we go to some stuff in the chat. Kroger here, Joel.
Kroger.
Just never really got going today.
No, and Big Billy D, who actually is a Bama fan. He joins me on a hot mic. He says I made a good call on this one. And the only thing is that you had that 32-12, 32-18. And I thought if it gave that out, that there was considerable downside. It did take that out, open flat on the session. It's just kind of like the cat out of the bag. You know what I mean? It's like everyone knew they were going to have a good quarter. They had a good quarter. It was expected. The same thing, Walmart. Like, look at that Walmart chart. What happened, but sold off on good news. I still want to own this one. I just don't know where, and I'm glad I didn't hold it going into the print. I do think, regardless of what happens with, the COVID-19 and moving on, I think people learn to cook at home. I think people realize that cooking at home is good, that it's a hell of a lot cheaper, and whether they're all going to go to Kroger, I don't know. But that's just my thoughts on Kroger. KR, and also they have really good coleslaw that I use in my Georgia Rubens.
Didn't their online sales grow like 92% on a year-over-year basis? So
yeah, I mean, but is that a one-timer?
Well, that's the question.
I still think that it, whether it's been a beaten down stock. You got Amazon and stuff, but I just think people are going to beat more at home. We'll see.
All right. Here's one we did not discuss this morning, but I would like to. 1-800-Flowers. Now, this is one I did not see coming, but they raised their guidance. I wonder if this has to do with the so-called increase in divorce rates that's happening as a result of people being stuck at home with their loved ones for months on end and not being able to leave. But 1-800-Flowers raised their guidance this morning. They raised their full year EPS growth guidance, the growth rate on the EPS to I'm sorry, am I reading?
They should have lowered it.
They raised it. No, check this out. They raised the EPS growth guidance. Originally, it was at 15 to 17% growth year over year. They raised it to 75 to 80% growth year over year. So
they should have lowered guidance. What are they doing?
I guess a lot of people are buying Flowers. They raised their EBITDA guidance. They raised their free cash flow guidance, all along those lines as well. So the stock popped on that headline in the pre-market, and then at the open, it's like it never happened.
Okay. I didn't see this news this morning.
Me neither.
And what do we try and preach here on this show, the pre-market prep show? We try and preach the open. If there's opportunity on the open to make money, there's opportunity to lose money, right? That's because the quants kind of, the bots kind of lay off a little bit off the open because they don't have orders to lean on. So you get some of your true players. So this thing closed 22.90. So let's say you bought the open 26.60. Like breakout. This thing's going to $30. It took 26.81. But I bet you if you were looking your P&L like 30 seconds later, you were in the red. And that's what they ended up selling the news on that one. Even took out the previous day's low. So, can't tell you about the guidance. Can't tell you what the stock's doing long term. I'm just telling you, man, that open was key in that stock. Everyone write down the open. Agnes, you're a little bit late. Your dog ate your homework. I want you to stay after. You got to stay 5 minutes after the show's over for being late.
I'm so surprised at how big of a guidance raise that was. I mean, I guess
too much, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know how to interpret that, but that's a big raise. They're saying that their EPS was going to grow 15% year over year. Now it's going to grow 75% year over year. I mean, geez.
I don't know. I mean, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
No either. Okay. Moving
I
on.
can't. The thing was, is like, during the quarantine and stuff. If I argued, Lisa is like the only one I saw. So like, if I argued with her, then I wouldn't have anybody to talk to. So it was kind of the opposite for
True.
me.
It's true. All right. Some stocks that were just thrown out in the chat this morning that we didn't have time to get to. Beyond Meat was one of them. So let's just pull
Okay,
start up.
tough stock.
Yeah.
Let's see what it did. Beyond Meat. I don't think I. They always ask me about this one on Hot Mic, and I don't think I got asked about it today. Uh well, I would have said if you were trying to buy yesterday's low, you got shut out. 154.37 yesterday's low, 154.88 the low today. So preview for tomorrow, 154.50. That's a big, big level. It takes that out. You perhaps have a $7 fall to 147.54. Another interesting thing about this stock is you got a seller in there. Yesterday we got up to 167.16, right? Today we couldn't even come within, just about $6 of that level. So someone stepped way down, pressure on the downside, 154.50. That's about all I can tell you on that one, folks. And if you bust above 160.97 tomorrow, I don't know if it has the gas to get to 167.16. That was a big day yesterday on big volume. Sellers coming in today.
Another one thrown out in the chat this morning, Roku. Now we've talked
Mm-hmm.
about this one. This just has not participated here. It has not broken out with the other streaming or
It did
tech.
though. It did
Well,
kind of break
it
out.
did today. It did today.
Hey, who was on me about this one? Was it Aramis? It was somebody, or was it Spinner in the other chat? And I was looking at this thing at like one. It was the day it snuck over 115, and then the next day it went. Oh, it was the day it looked like it broke out at 115. Went to 116 the next day, but they ended up flushing this thing back down to 104 on Monday. So big old move, and then it got going again the second time. Tough stock, but this is a nice breakout. You've taken out this 128.55 high. Next level of interest for me. Look at that, folks. 3 highs between 132.88 and 134.98. So split those, 134. That's my number. Next target, Roku on the upside. Next.
Buy it on.
It was Aramis. It was Aramis Estevez. Are you related to Emilio Estevez? Is what I want to know.
Buy Roku on Tuesday, sell it on Wednesday, buy it on Thursday, sell it on Friday. I wonder.
Okay, spoos are jumping up here, back over 3,100, going into the last 6 minutes of the stanza. Blair Fleming, Joel, can you look at casinos like MGM? I think they have pretty good support at this level. Man, you see, you're getting into your COVID plays here, Blair, and I don't know what's going on in Vegas. I mean, have you heard anything, Spencer?
They're opening, and
they're opening,
and their case count's going up.
I see what you're saying here in the MGM. $18, 1770, 1760, 1765, 1826, 1830. I just don't like it's not bolting out of there. It is good support, but it's just it's lagging. It was down a dime one day. It was down 40 cents the other day. It's down 30 cents to 40 cents today. So it's not perky. And, but we'll see. I definitely see the support that you're talking about there, pal.
All right. What else here from the chat? Or being asked about ZI, Zoom Info. This is the recent IPO.
How is that doing?
Software is just hot today.
Oh, this one. Little bit of a haircut here, huh?
On the daily, sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I like this. If 43, if I was sticking my neck out here, I'd look at those two lows, 43 and a quarter, 43.77. I'd say that'd be my out. But yeah, got hit pretty good after that big run up. These IPOs are tough. Maybe get a couple days of consolidation. I would rather see it like wind up a little bit, hold these lows, then get a little bow to the upside. S&P's trying to go north here, going into the last 4 minutes here of the session. Folks, remember we got quad witch tomorrow, and I know you guys know I like to lean to the short side, but I just going into this quad witch tomorrow, I just don't have the heart to lean into the short side here, especially today. I mean, this COVID news went down, boom, came back, went down, came back, went down. So who knows? We'll see what they monkey with it overnight. We should have a big open one way or another.
Today's just been a good day for software. Slack, Bill.com, Zscaler, Cloudera, just software as a
How's
whole.
Cloudera doing? Aren't they up for sale?
So they say, yeah.
Yeah, so they say. That's always a good way to get a bid of under your stock after you miss earnings. Oh yeah, PreMarket Prep is exploring strategic opportunities. That's off the races.
Can't argue with this chart.
No, nice looking chart. Broke out. So someone thinks they're going to pay a decent premium for this one. This is a big volume move too. Breakout here, Cloudera. Your breakout was 13. So if I'm going to try and get this on the cheap, look at that. 3 highs in a row, 1292, 1298. I'd be interested this 13 on a pullback.
And then let's look at, let's not look at that one. That's a super small.
Did we talk about RPRX yet?
No, let's do that one. RPRX. This came up on the pre-market show, and then we forgot to get to it during the regular show. But Joel, you have thoughts here.
Yeah, and man, oh man,
I'm pretty sure Kramer didn't talk about this.
I did my pre-market prep stock of the day, and I'm like, Spencer, when did we talk about this on the show? And Spencer's like, we didn't talk about it on the show. We talked about it on the pre-market show. But when Dennis talks for 35 minutes straight, we don't get in half of the stocks that we want to cover. So this one, the retail got stuffed. Guys, if you're trading after hours, any kind of trade, I don't care, Robinhood, Webull, I don't care what kind of platform you are, those moves are great and they're exciting. But man, that thing shot up after hours, it shot up in the pre-market, and then once again, 56.39 open. You bought that open 56.5 before you even carted it up. Man, that thing was red. So good stock, but man, got a little overdone. Be careful in that pre-market and after hours trading. Josh McHugh had a nice scalp in the green. That's nice. Good trade in that one. That's a tough one.
Yeah, and then I think Dennis was saying that Kramer talked about this, and he said he liked it last night, which is
he did a lot. That was oh yeah. S&P's trying to get green here, folks. Rarely I'm bullish heading to a close here, but leaning a little bit to the bull side today.
Yeah, all right. Final minute, less than a minute now until close. Any earnings?
Did you see Biogen?
Yeah, this was on our list here too. Biogen and Mylan this morning had a headline. I guess the court sided with Mylan on a patent lawsuit. So that big red candle for Biogen, that big green candle for Mylan related. I'll just pull up Biogen here.
Yeah. Wait, are we still waiting on this Alzheimer's drug on this one?
Yeah, that was what do they say? Oh, so they said the first half of 2020, but God only knows. I mean, that was before the pandemic. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear about this drug for another 6 months.
I can't talk much about today's activity. This is bad. This is bad news. Looks like we're settling on just off the lows in the session. The only thing I want to illustrate here for our traders, investors, pull up the daily for me, Spencer.
Sure.
And I don't know what happened on this day when it gapped down. You had a 339. Where's your gap here? You had a 329.01 close. Your high the next day was 306.99 with a 298.01 close. That was a bad day. I don't know what the news wasn't on that one. So you created a gap, an area of price, right? That doesn't have any memory, at least from the day session. So you rallied up, you recovered from that, and then where did you get to? You got to 335. So you more than filled that gap. And by, $6, $7, $8. But if you were using that as a target, either on the long side or for a short, that was a nice gap fill. And now you got a gap on the upside. Not sure if that one's going to be filled. Spencer, who's our guest tomorrow? Or
The one
I
and only,
already know.
the one and only Jason Raznick will be joining our show at around 8:40, 8:45 or so. That'll be it for Joel and I. Now, thanks for everyone who joined us. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, check out Benzinga Pro. There's a link to Pro in the description of this video. And please remember that all the information from our show is meant to be used as informational purposes and not for investing or trading advice. That's it. Market closed. We're done. Joel and I are off. Everyone have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning.